also heard it said, that, man, like, if God can just let himself appear so we can actually see him, or maybe he could perform some kind of miracle or something just to prove that, hey, he is God, and he is all powerful, and he actually exists, then I would actually follow him. Just let yourself be known. Why are you trying to hide? Just let yourself be known so we can follow you. But again, I don't think that's true. And it's because we see examples of Jesus and God clearly revealing themselves to these people, and they still don't believe. It's crazy. For example, in the Old Testament with the Israelites, if you want to just be annoyed with one group of people, like just read the story of the Israelites. It's ridiculous. And after all the signs and wonders that God does, all the miracles that he performs, from parting the Red Sea to raining bread down from heaven to getting water from a rock, and from raining down fire from heaven, and from actually speaking to them, like an audible voice was heard. The Ten Commandments, Exodus 20, and God spoke all these words, saying, bam, so much so that they were actually like scared and like, you know what, I don't want to hear God talk anymore. I want Moses to talk instead. So these people were like truly experiencing God, his presence, his works, his miracles. But yet, if you read through the story of the Israelites, time and time again, they turn away, they doubt, they don't believe, they complain, they do this, they do that. They're just like, wow, how can people who witnessed and experienced all that God can do, heard God speak themselves, and saw him, pillar of cloud by day, pillar of fire by night, all these great things, yet they still didn't believe. They still rejected. They still did their own things. It's crazy. Fast forward to the New Testament, Jesus, again, he was physically there. They could touch him, feel him, smell him, he was there, and he also performed miracles, healing the sick, giving sight to the blind, like raising someone from the dead after like 4 days of being in the tomb. But yet, as it says here in John 12, verse 37, but although he had done so many signs before them, they did not believe in him. But despite all these signs and wonders that Jesus was able to do in their presence, they still didn't believe. And so, in the same way, I feel like, if Jesus was to just, do a whole bunch of miracles in this present day, there would still be people who just would not believe. It is mind-boggling, but it's true time and time again. And so last week we talked about how, despite all the evidence in the world, people will still not believe in God or follow God. In the same way, despite all the, miracles and wonders and signs that God may perform, there's still people who would not follow him and believe in him. And there is a time when all the people who were following God, after a while, was just starting to leave, And so Jesus turns to his 12 disciples and he says, well, everyone's leaving. Are you going to leave too? And Peter says this, Lord, to whom will we go? You have the words that give eternal life. So what's going to really get us to follow God and truly believe in him is not the signs and wonders and miracles that he could perform. But what's really going to get us to follow God is the realization that he has life. Like, he is the source of life. And not just life but eternal life. If you just take a glance at the world around us, you can just see all the, pain, suffering, agony, death, tragedies, all that's going on around this world. And Jesus promises that he's going to put an end to all this nonsense that's going on in the world around us. And he says, I'm going to make this world new. And it's going to be no more pain, no more suffering, no more death. It's just going to be love. And you can have access to this life. And this life is found in following me. Don't seek after the signs, the wonders, and the miracles, but rather seek after the man behind the miracles. He's the one who's the source of life. He is the one that's the source of love. If you want to live the way that he lived on earth, you will need to have that direct line, that direct connection with him. If you want to live in a world without this sin or suffering or all of that's going on in the world around us today that's just so negative, you can do him. Seek him. Think on these things.